Welcome back and thank you for joining me. Today, me and Yevgeny, we're going to be replacing the blower fan on my Volvo. The blower fan under number 4, it seems like Volvo was built around the fan. It's so difficult to get to it to replace it. Now, I got the fan online. It's a lot cheaper than getting it at the Volvo dealer. And let me tell you that this is the same original fan if you would buy it at Volvo. It fits different models, and you can see that even they erase the markings on it, they scratch off the logo, but it's the same original fan. For additional information, please look in the description below. I will add all the important information. Don't be lazy, look below. To complete this job, you will need the blower fan removal tool. This tool was made by my father-in-law using the following diagram. I will add all the information in the description below. If you're not as handy and you cannot make it yourself, you can buy the original Volvo tool. This is the part number. It's available online and it costs around $100. Thanks again to my father-in-law. He did a good job. I will also replace the cabin filter. It's a Land Rover filter, but it's exactly as the Volvo one, but cheaper. Let's begin. First of all, you must turn on the recirculation button. You have to do it to proceed. Later, you will see why. Engine off, and you want to disconnect the battery. I've disconnected the negative lead. Next, we need to remove the speedometer cluster. I use a bone tool to pry out this panel. It's just clips, and then pull on it, and it's gonna be in your hands. The speedometer cluster is held by 4 screws Torx 25, 2 screws on top and 2 screws at the bottom on the sides. Unscrew all 4. And we need access to the blower fan from 2 sides, from the speedometer cluster and the glovebox compartment. And pretty much done. Use the same bone tool, pry out on top, and the speedometer will drop down this way. That's how you're gonna be able to pull it out. Be careful now not to scratch anything. You have to disconnect with your left hand the electrical connector, push on the top, detach, and carefully pry it out. Make sure that the steering wheel is all the way out. Behind the cluster, there is 2 air ducts that are in a way. We need to remove the 2 Torx 25 screws to be able to remove one of the air ducts. I've sped up the whole process because otherwise the video is gonna be too long. This repair takes a lot of time. Both screws are out now. Detach one air duct from the other and then pull out the right one from its place where it sits. It's not too difficult, and there you go, it's out. Now we have access to the blower fan on one side. Continue working now on the passenger side. Detach this side panel. And then this kick panel, just pull on it carefully. It just sits on metal clips. Remove the carpet out. Detach this panel. It sits on the same metal clips. And on one side, one of the plastic clips is already broken. That's okay. Use your fingers to pull on this weather seal. Now we need to remove this weather seal to gain access to this panel. This panel, carefully pull on it. It's held also by the same metal clips. There's 2 of them. One at the top and one at the bottom. Before working on the glove box, take everything out to make sure it's not heavy. The bottom kick plate is held by 2 screws Torx 25. Unscrew both of the screws, pull on it down, disconnect the electrical connector for the lighting. The glove box is held by 6 screws Torx 25 around the perimeter. Unscrew all the 6 screws around. Once all out, open the glove box and look inside. There's 2 bolts using 8mm socket. Unscrew both of the bolts. Carefully pull on the glove box. And depending on the equipment of your Volvo, you're gonna have more or less wires connected to it. So take your time carefully to detach whatever you see. Please note what is connected where. I'm not gonna go too detailed into it. I'm done, and the glove box is out. Next, we need to remove the passenger carpet. To do that, we need to unscrew the seat. Remove those decorative covers for the bolts. Just pry it out with a bone tool, and you're gonna get access to 4 13mm socket bolts. Unscrew both bolts in the front. Next, under the seat you have the audio amplifier. It's held by 3 bolts 10mm. We have access now for the 2 bolts. The 3rd bolt will gain access a little bit later. We had to reconnect the battery to move the seat forward to gain access to the 2 other bolts at the back. Also use the bone tool to remove those decorative covers. Just pull on them, they're gonna detach. Unscrew both of the bolts and your seat is pretty much undone. Move the seat all the way back and use a helper now to lift the seat up and move it all the way back to the seat as much as possible. Now we have access to the 3rd bolt that holds the audio amplifier. Remove the 3rd bolt 10mm socket and then move the amplifier a little bit back away and pull out on the carpet. Now it's very easy to gain access to it. Now VIDA Volvo instructions tell you to bend it away. I didn't want to bend it, I decided to remove it. Don't be lazy, it's gonna be the easiest way to do this job on the blower fan. Now let me tell you that this picture looks scary. Don't be afraid, we're gonna continue. This is just for illustration. We need to remove all the connectors that are connected to the SEM, Central Electronic Module. So that's what I'm doing right now. My car looks a little bit different from the illustration. Just take your time, disconnect carefully whatever is connected to this white big box. This is your SEM, Central Electronic Module. And yes, we didn't forget to disconnect the battery again before proceeding here. Everything is disconnected. Now it's time to remove the SEM. Push on the tab upwards to unlock it. And then you need to kinda pull it away on the right side and slide it outwards. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm pushing on the tab up, pull it away and towards you. And it's in your hands. The SEM is out. Now to the bracket that holds the SEM. Unscrew the 3 nuts using 13mm socket. These are the 3 nuts that we took out. And now we decided not to pull it out completely off the car. We just pull on it, slide it out, and we zip tie it just so it's not in a way, just like that. Next, we need to remove the air quality sensor. It depends on the level of equipment on your Volvo. My car does have it. Just twist it, pull it outwards, and disconnect this connector and pull out the wires. In reality, it looks like this. This is the air quality sensor. We twist on it and pull it out. We've disconnected this connector and we've unthreaded all the wires from the recirculation housing. Next, the 3 screws that hold the recirculation housing. I don't know how to call it, but let's give it this kind of name. Let me show you the location of all the 3 screws. Right in the middle, you can see one of the screws. This is the easiest one to get to. On top, above, this screw, you're not gonna see it with your eyes. You're gonna need to unscrew it only by feel. By the way, at the bottom you could see where the air quality sensor set, that hole. And this screw, also, you're gonna be unscrewing it by feel only. Make sure that you get a lot of patience. Put something soft like blanket on the floor, because you're gonna be lying just like that on the floor, unscrewing those 3 screws. I'm gonna be translating here. First of all, I apologize for the pajamas, and make sure that you guys do some stretching before, and make sure that you treat yourself with some beer. Okay, I'm done with the 3 bolts, and now you're ready to pull on this recirculation housing. The reason why we wanted to push on the recirculation button is so that you can pull out this housing from the car. If you don't do that, you're not gonna be able to pull on this housing away from the car, because one of the flaps will be open and it's not gonna let you out. Carefully, slowly, there is not a lot of room, but you will be able to pull it out from the car, just like that. So far, this is what we had to take out from the car. I know it looks pretty scary, a lot of parts. Let's take a closer look now at the recirculation housing. I don't know if I'm describing this part correctly, but again, let's take a look at the 3 screws. There's one screw at the bottom, you can see it. One screw on the upper right corner, very hard to get to it. You have to do it by feel, and the easiest one is on the left. And this is the way it sits in the car, this way. And the recirculation button, when you activate it, you push on it. This is the flap that I was talking about. See how it's flush? That's when it gives you the ability to pull it out from the car. I hope, guys, that this was very helpful to you. Let's continue. Now to the blower fan. We need to disconnect its connector. There is 2 tabs that you push on both sides and you pull on the connector. Just reach with your hand through the speedometer area, and by feel you're gonna find the connector. We've already done it because it's very difficult to film. It's a very tight spot here, but not difficult at all. We've disconnected the connector. Next, we need to unscrew the screw at the blower fan, and for some reason this screw is missing on my car. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at the new fan. On the left side there is a tab that holds it. On the right side, this is where the electrical connector is, and in between, this is where the screw is going into. You can see it now better over here. Let's put the camera in there, and I'm gonna show you that I'm actually missing the screw for some reason. Maybe the blower fan was replaced before under warranty, could be, I don't know, but make sure that before proceeding, take a look and see if you have that screw. If you do, unscrew it. Time to put the tool on the fan, and these are the instructions from Volvo. Now you will need 2 persons to complete this. One person needs to push on the tab, the picture at the top, and the second person at the same time goes counterclockwise on the fan. Let us demonstrate how it works in reality. We have an older fan here. We take the tool with the wider pins, they go on top, and you need to align first of all the shaft in the middle over here, and then those wider pins, they grab this plastic place on the fan, and you go counterclockwise 15 degrees. That's how we're gonna be removing the fan. So it's not hard. Let me show you again the fan on the car over here. Let's put the tool on the fan. With the wider pins, we aim them towards the top. Carefully slide it over the fan, align the center shaft, and you gotta feel that those pins are grabbing now that plastic square in the fan, and you can see now that there is some resistance. So we're gonna go ahead. Yevgeny is gonna push on the tab. He's pushing down at the top, and I'm gonna be at the same time counterclockwise rotating the fan. Now let me tell you that over here I do everything by feel. I don't see anything except the camera. So Yevgeny is pushing on the top and I'm turning it counterclockwise. The fan is already out and I still continue to unscrew it unnecessary, but that's okay because I couldn't see anything. And yes, the fan is out. We're now pretty much halfway into the process. Let me tell you that this repair will take quite a few hours of your time for two-person job. And make sure you grab your favorite drink. We had some great time with Evgeny, so we had some beer. And I'm gonna give you only one attempt to guess. Which tool did we use the most during this repair? Comment below and we're gonna continue here. I'm gonna put a link in the description below to the video of how this fan was annoying during winter times. When it was freezing cold outside, it was squeaking like crazy. Really annoying. Finally I got to it. One more demonstration on how the tool is used to remove the fan. We took the cover off the old fan, and those wider pins sit around the square on the body of the fan, and this way you're able to counterclockwise unscrew it. The tool is on the new blower fan, ready to be installed on the car. The camera went off a little bit here, but everything happens on feel. You can't screw it back in and look, so it takes some time. Be patient, it's gonna go in. We're putting the fan back in place. By looking through the instrument cluster, you can check if the tab clicked in, and no, we didn't screw any screw back in. I feel like it's pretty much unnecessary. Another thing that I wanted to mention, which is pretty important, after installing the blower fan into the car, there is like 3 tabs that you can't really see once it's in the car. And what we noticed is that there is a lot of play on the fan itself. Now, don't be afraid, I want to explain here. The fan itself sits on those rubber white tabs, so it moves inside the case. So when we touch it like this, it moves around like aggressively. And we thought that we didn't engage it properly into the grooves. And this is what happens, it moves around in the case. Now let me show you exactly what happens on the car. If we move the fan, this is what happens. It feels like it's loose, but it's not. It actually in place, it just sits on those rubber grommets inside the case, so it's all good. We'll continue. Now it's time to reconnect the electrical connector. Just do it by feel. It clicks in pretty easy and you can't go wrong here. Reinstalling the recirculation in. To make your life easier, just take the 3 screws and pre-thread them into the case slightly so they don't fall out easy. This is gonna be way easier than trying to aim those screws in, because you can't see and it's a very limited space over there. I'm gonna be repositioning the case. It took some time, by the way, to get it properly in place. We're now pretty much putting everything back together in reverse. Thanks to Evgeny for all his help that he provided. It was such a great time working together. We didn't lose any time. And make sure that you have the whole day in front of you to do this job, because it wasn't easy. It's gonna take you a few hours to complete it together. What we did is we've reinstalled the air quality sensor, we reconnected the connector, and we put the wires back into the position. Replacing the cabin filter is very easy now. There is nothing in the way. Pop out the cover, remove the old filter, notice the direction of the airflow on the filter, reinstall the new one in, and you're ready to go. So make sure that you grab a new filter if you're gonna do your blower fan on your own. All done, cover is back on the filter. Now we're gonna be reinstalling the bracket for the TSEM back into place, and 3 screws that you want to tighten back into place. Take the SEM central electronic module, slide it into the grooves and click it into place. Easy. Reconnecting all the connectors back into place. You can't go wrong because everything is color coded. If you're not sure, you can always take picture before you take everything apart, which might help you later in the process. While everything is out, I also wanted to show you, this is the air conditioning drain, and if it's clogged, this is where you need to unclog it. You just remove this hose and then you can put something in there to unclog it. I hope that this little tip was helpful. We're gonna continue. Remove everything from the floor, that you were lying on, to make it a little bit more comfortable, and we didn't show, we had to remove one of the air ducts here because I didn't want to lay down on it so I don't break it. So we're reconnecting it back into place. Carpet back into place. And again, another reminder, don't be lazy, don't fold the carpet when you work on the fan, just take it out, it's gonna make it easier. Screw back the 3 bolts that hold the audio amplifier under the seat. Reinstall the air duct behind the speedometer cluster. It will take some time because you can't see and you do everything by feel, but it's gonna go in eventually. And reinstall the 2 screws. Speedometer cluster, carefully, make sure you don't scratch anything. Don't forget to reconnect the connector, and that's how you drop it in. Reinstall the 4 screws. Reinstall the decorative trim around the speedometer and the steering column. Reinstalling the glove box, make sure that you don't miss any wires that you've detached earlier. And again, it will all depend on the trim of your Volvo, on the numbers of the wires that you have over there. Reinstalling the 2 bolts inside the glove box and the 6 screws around the perimeter of the glove box. Reconnect the footwell illumination and pop the kick plate into place and screw back the 2 screws. Use a helper to slide the seat back into position, and we're gonna reinstall the 4 bolts that hold it. All done. Reconnect the battery and we're gonna start the car and check it out. Yep, everything works as it should. I'm pretty happy with the result. And again, I wanted to thank my father-in-law Alex, who built the tool for me. Without the tool I wouldn't be able to do this job. Thanks Evgeny for helping me out. We had a great time. I missed that time. Hit like, subscribe to my channel, and you're welcome to check out my other videos, and you're welcome to take a look at the video where the fan was making the noise. Thank you and bye bye.